Hello everybody, Helcarex here. Welcome to another Mercenary Thoughts from the Endersphere, episode 263. And today we're going to be talking about the Drillson Heavy Hover Tank. It comes in at 50 tons. It's a 914, so it's really fast. So, yeah, it's sort of an interesting vehicle. Comes in around 950 battle value, depending on which version you have. It'll give or take a little bit. Now, like I said, it's a 914, has a fusion reactor, so you got 10 free heat sinks, so you might as well use them, right? All right, so it does have no extra heat sinks other than the 10. It has 104 points of armor, or 6.5 tons, so it has enough to keep it alive for a while. And, well, it can take an AC-20 to the front, not to the sides or back. Or it can take it to the turret, though. So if you got it in a hull down, well, it can handle some hits there. Now, equipment-wise, well, you got a fusion reactor, you got 10 free heat sinks, you might as well put some energy weapons on board. It does have a large laser in the turret. It has 2 SRM-2s in the turret with a ton of ammo, so you got some options there. You could either run it with standard missiles or infernals. It has an LRM-10 in the front, which is kind of, if you ever look at that thing, it's got that little extra little turret-like thing in the front with a ton of ammo. And then it has 2 machine guns on the front slope for anti-infantry work. Now, as a 914, yes, it does get around pretty quickly. Now, personally, I don't know if 9 movement is really necessary. It's like I probably would have dropped it down to an 8, making an 812, and then see if you can save yourself an extra ton and maybe give yourself 2 tons of ammo for that SRM. So you can go solid or inferno. There you go. That's kind of like how I look at that. LRM, you know, with 1 ton, you got 12 shots with that. That's pretty respectable. It'll keep you going for a while. Considering that most engagements and games don't last more than 10 turns anyway, it's got plenty of ammo there. And if you're doing a run and gun scenario, you still got the large laser in those SRMs to do you some work with. So, with 2 SRM-2s, that's 25 shots with those. So that's more than enough also. So, well, how do you play this thing? Well, it's definitely a harasser. It doesn't necessarily have a lot of armor. Like I said, the 104 is enough to keep it alive and engaged for a turn or two without having to worry too much. But being a hovercraft, all it takes is a couple of hits, and you take some motive hits, and these things slow down, and then they die. So, yeah, it's not necessarily one of those vehicles you want to get into a slugfest with. So I always consider it like a harasser, mid to late game style vehicle. You can stay back with that LRM-10 and do some indirect fire, direct fire, running around the flanks with it, and trying to whittle somebody down with those LRM-10s. If you do have a lance of these guys, throwing out 4 LRM-10s, averaging about, say, 6 damage, and half of those hit, that's 12, and you do that for 5 turns, that's some damage done to let's say, a mech or something. Now, when you think about it as a as a supplemental vehicle, kind of works that way. Now, if you're thinking of combined arms, where you're going to have vehicles and mechs, you know, sometimes you just look at it and go 950 battle value. That can get you a halfway decent mech also. So you sort of have to weigh it in. But at that battle value, you're probably going to get a medium mech, and you're getting a medium-sized vehicle anyway. So Your mileage may vary. You're definitely not going to get that kind of speed with a mech for that kind of battle value typically. That's going to have any type of firepower compared to this thing. So, yeah, it's like, I think you're going to get more bang for your buck using these vehicles versus a mech. But your life expectancy as a vehicle is going to be greatly decreased because the one advantage of a mech over a vehicle is that you have a whole bunch of different areas that can absorb damage. Arms, legs, etc. Here on a vehicle, it's either going to be on the front, side, or the sides, depending on when you roll. So you're looking at 5s and 9s will hit the sides, and the rest will get most likely going to hit the front. With a 10 or better, will hit the turret. So more tied to that, most of the damage, if you're firing to the front arc, is going to hit the front arc. So that's why they usually don't live as long. So, I like this. Like I said, this vehicle is one of those ones you go to the mid to later game where you do the harassment with it and do a lot of damage, and then you start slowly moving in, kind of circling your opponent, and you're using that turret to your advantage. So you're going as fast as you can, and hoping that the LRM hits and the large laser hits. Now, if you get all 4 large lasers to hit, and then you get a couple of the LRMs to hit, you're start forking out some good damage on it. And you're going to eventually, if it's a light mech, something like that, yeah, you're going to tear it up pretty quickly. Medium mech, it may last a little longer with that kind of firepower coming down range. So, it's not bad. It's something that you have to respect it for what it can do. Now, later in the game, when the mechs and other vehicles are tore up, then you start diving in and you start putting those SRMs to good use, and then you're getting it close to, if you're in SRM range, then your large laser is going to be either at short to medium range, and you're most likely going to hit with that more often than not. And if you get close enough for using machine guns on the front slope, well, geez, you're really tearing things up probably. So that's kind of how I look at that. Now, there are a few variants. Like I said, the only thing I would consider is trying to figure out how to put a... Now, one way you could do it is replace the LRM-10 with 2 LRM-5s. That would free up a ton of space that way. That possibly how you could gain that extra ton for your Inferno ammo and solid ammo. So, something to think about. Now, we do have a few variants of this vehicle, of the Lyrian Commonwealth. Alright, there's the cheaper version. This one is the internal combustion engine. Gets rid of the fusion reactor, and then you're looking at, well, geez, it's let's see, how much did they decrease the speed by half, it looks like. Yeah, over half. So you're looking at probably a 4.6 moving, I think it is a 4.6. Internal combustion engines moving Drillson. So then you also have to worry about extra heat sinks and amplifiers because it's still using that large laser. They would have been better off getting rid of the large laser in this case and either replace it with a upgraded LRM to, let's say, an LRM-15, and then adding that extra SRMs and ammo for the LRM and the SRM. So that might be a better option to go that route, dropping the medium laser or the large laser, because you don't need it. Internal combustion engine vehicles, there's no reason to have energy weapons. Go to autocannons or missile weapons. That's just how I roll. All right. Then there's the SRM version. This is a long-range support system. your LRMs have been replaced by 4 additional SRM2s and 3 tons of ammo. And then still has the machine guns. Now, you look at that one. That is your knife fighter. And you're getting rid of your really longer range capability with your LRM-10 for your 4 more SRMs. But you're going to have 3 tons of ammo. So you really don't necessarily need 3 tons of ammo. You can probably get by with 2 tons, 1 of each. So now you're looking at 6 SRM2s. And if you have Infernal and then you have your standard, you really could hit somebody and guarantee that of those 6 you're going to have a couple of at least 2 or 3 hit. Then you can really cook infantry or vehicles or mechs with some extra heat or just barbecue. So interesting. It might be considered say you take a lance of Drillson, so maybe one of these might be a variant that you might want to take. So there. Then later on, we end up with the version that gets rid of the standard large laser for an ER large laser. Really didn't, because you had to start stripping off 2 tons of your armor to be able to put on, you know, an ER large laser, because you need 2 more heat sinks. So there, it's not really necessarily one that was really popular. Then we have the Streak version. This one comes in after the Clan Invasion. The SRM racks have been removed and more efficient SRM2s were refitted, and then you have the I think it's the large laser was the large laser was taken away and replaced with a large pulse laser. So yeah, honestly, you got to pull off armor for that. That's the only thing I can think of. So less, okay, this might be the SRM this might be the SRM version. So you got a few less SRMs, you get replaced with streaks, and then you get rid of the large laser for a large pulse laser. So you're decreasing your range. And it's like you're taking a more high-tech weapons system and putting it on a vehicle. And it's like, save that for your mechs. That's the way I look at that. It's like, I don't have a problem with the streaks being on the vehicle, but the large pulse laser just counterintuitive to me. You're decreasing your range down to the same as your SRM, so you're sitting around from 9 or 10 at best. So yeah, not a big deal. Not a big fan of that one. Then we got the sealed version. This is for, you know, you're basically going into a vacuum, and the this one is like 25, the 3075 come out. It has a pair of light PPCs mounted in the turret and MML3. Okay, ML3. That's like not really okay. Sufficient ammunition. It carries I think it's like 2 tons of each. Oh, okay. So, and then you have the hull is able to go into amphibious modes or vacuum, basically. So they're not necessarily a high firepower style vehicle. Yeah, the light PPCs, sort of almost a good replacement for the large laser. But the MML3, I'd rather just keep an LRM-10, to be honest. Yeah, it's like not a big fan of that one. But Its battle value comes in slightly cheaper though, so yeah, it's cheaper than the standard version. There is that. Okay, so that's pretty much it. That's the Drillson in a nutshell. Personally, I'm just kind of happy with the standard version. And one big thing like it did say was replace the LRM-10 with maybe a couple LRM-5s, and then take that extra tonnage saving, maybe add another SRM ammo ton, so you can run Infernos or standard ammo, depending on how you want to work it. Because I'm a big fan of Infernos. They make you, to me, I find Infernal missile SRM-2s are more efficient than flamers, and I would prefer a flamer over a machine gun. So there. All right, hope you guys like it. Like and subscribe, share with friends, and we'll talk to you next one. Hellcracks out.